how you doing everybody? It's the 9th of August 2010. It's a lovely day outside, as you can see. Sun's shining down and get a bit of work done in the garden later on. Just want to touch on two things today. The first thing I want to touch on is something I get very upset about, but so I have to control myself. And it's about public sector wages in Ireland. And I'll just touch on it because I don't really want to go into it at length, because I get slightly incensed, to say the least. Basically what we have is we've got I'll throw out the cover and then I'll go into it. Basically the situation is that everybody earns a wage. All workers earn a wage. And if you examine the hymn sheet that the vast majority of workers, the hymn sheet of their wages, where it comes from, specifically where it comes from the people who employ them. And the people who employ them are generally companies and private individuals. Alright? And that's the way that it should be. Now, within that grouping, there is a big grouping. And they sing off a different hymn sheet. And the hymn sheet that they sing off is, first of all, they can never, when they join up to this company, as it were, they can never lose their job. They get privileged position vis-a-vis holidays and sickness leave and all sorts of gratuities handed out to them. And then they're part of a massive pension plan. And the pension plan is linked and indexed to their wages. So that when they retire, they get a percentage of their wages. It's normally around 2/3 of their wages. It's unbelievable. And that company is called the state, and they're state employees, public servants. What they do is they have a dual role. They serve the state, that's what they are, and in turn they are serving the public. Okay? And in Ireland, like everything in the world that's in Ireland, it's all arse about face. In the vast majority of countries throughout the world, public servants earn on a par with the people who work in the private sector, or slightly below it. Because the reality is, just listen to this, the reality is that all of the people, all of the citizens who work in the public sector, none of them produce financial wealth. They produce another type of wealth called social wealth. Now, in the capitalist order, in a socialist order, that's more important than financial wealth. In a communist society, that's more important. But we don't live in a communist society. We live in an advanced capitalist society. And in a capitalist society, those who create the financial wealth of that society take precedence over everyone else. Except, of course, in Ireland, where the public servants earn on average between 30 and 35% more than those who participate in the private sector. And I refer you to Ronan Lyon's article. I link it up and I put the graph up here now. And you've seen that graph, and there it shows you very, very clearly that for time immemorial it's been that way. Not time immemorial, but certainly for the last 20, 30, 40 years it's been that way. The public sector have earned more than the private sector. So for people to get up on their high horses and start lecturing me about move on, it's time to move on, get real and all that, and curse at me on YouTube, I don't like that. I don't like people using four-letter words at me on YouTube. And anybody who does it, I just remove them immediately and block them. They'll never be able to make a posting against me again. I don't do that with people. I might lose my temper and in the generality give out. But I don't direct people and tell people to F off. If somebody has something to say, let them speak up. Stand up, speak out. That's what we don't do in this country. It's all brushed under the carpet. All this shit is brushed under the carpet. Now, that's the situation. And the other situation I just want to point out, which is a big difference, when the workers, i.e. the real workers who produce the financial wealth in society, sing off their hymn sheet every week and they get their wage packet, that wage packet generally, as I say, comes from their employers, the people who employ them. All right? With the public servants, the people who employ them, who are they? They're their fellow citizens. That's who employs them, not the state. The state simply administers the funds. The source of the funds are the people, the citizens, the citizenry at large. And that's a difference. So let's get real. If you want to get real, let's get real. Anyway, I just want to finish that subject. I don't want to say any more. The bottom line about it is then we move on to another subject dear to my heart. Link, Irish Times, Saturday. Nearly 5,000 people. The previous year before, it was 3,000. And I did an article on it at the time. 5,000 people of my fellow citizens, 5,000 of them, last year ended up with a criminal record and went to jail for non-payment of court fines. Now, I just want to pose one question, rather simple question. I think we have 127 judges in this state, and I think that the vast majority of court fines would probably be dealt out with about 3/4 of them, or 2/3 of them. They'd be in the likes of the district courts and the circuit courts. Generally would be handing out fines, court fines. And I wonder, out of how many of those district court justices and circuit court justices, I wonder how many of them took a reduction in their wages and adopted the levy. I wonder how many of them did that. Because we mustn't forget, 1/3 of these gentlemen and ladies, up until the end of last year, up until the end of 2009, hadn't done it. These are the ones that set the parameters, the social and moral parameters and ethical parameters for Irish society, and are sending my fellow citizens to jail. Of course, this is Ireland in 2010. This is the Great Republic.